Mykelti announces she is pregnant with twins, a first for the Brown family. But is Mykelti being set up to repeat Christine's childhood trauma? We have a lot to talk about. Hey everybody, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. So I was originally going to make this video two different videos, but the topics overlap so much. I feel like they really just needed to go together. So here we go. They're in one video. So first and foremost, topic number one, bombshell announcement that happened in the Sister Wives community this past week is that Mykelti announced that she and her husband Tony are expecting twins that should arrive later this year. In an exclusive interview with People magazine, Mykelti shared this pregnancy announcement. She would later go on to announce it on Instagram. She shared these really super cute pregnancy announcement pictures. From the article, it says, quote, "I'm extremely excited for the twins to come," quote, Mykelti 26 tells People. "Nervous as well, especially for the first 18 months of their lives, but it will be a wonderful adventure." Adds Tony, "I'm excited about having double the trouble and double the fun." Congratulations to Mykelti and Tony. This is super exciting, scary, I'm sure. The thought of twins, parents of multiples, I'm sure that you can enlighten us down in the comments, but it is a wild ride, I am sure. Now, most of us are wondering, what is season 17 of Sister Wives going to look like? So much has happened recently and is currently happening after years of literally nothing happening, that I would say, if I may be so bold, that season 17 is highly anticipated. I don't know how many seasons of this show they have left. I don't know how many the Browns are willing to do, but I, for one, am reinvigorated in the show, and I am very, very excited for season 17. Now, and this was going to be the topic of a second video, but really the topics just overlap, so I had to just make it one video. The day after Mykelti's pregnancy announcement, Christine posted photos of a family vacation she took to California, where she went to Disneyland, California Adventure, Universal Studios. She took along Isabel and Truly and her mother, Annie. I talked about this in a recent video, and I will link that down in the description, but it is no secret that Christine has a complicated family history and a complicated relationship with her mother. Christine comes from a long line of polygamists, which Kody refers to as polygamy royalty in the show. Christine has talked many times on the show about how she grew up living in fear. Specifically, she says living in fear that her dad might be arrested. But not only did she grow up living in fear of outside law enforcement, she also grew up living in fear of inside polygamy defectors. Defectors that could come from within her own community and that we see her own immediate family. Let's go back to that polygamy debate that they participated in season 6, where Christine comes face to face with her Aunt Kristen, whom she had not seen in years.
I'm thinking, how in the world am I supposed to treat her? I'm gonna have to somehow break the ice and say hi.
Aunt Kristen, I love you. I just don't know what to do with you. I remember you so well, and I remember your husband, and sweetheart, he wasn't a nice man. I'm sorry.
And we know that Christine did not have a relationship with her own mother after her mother divorced her dad for 15 years. That is just so much lost time. With that being said, it is so nice to see Christine after Kody involves spending time with her mom. This is a big step for Christine. Christine, at a very young age, cut off her own mother and her aunt because they dared question the teachings of the AUB. which is the fundamental polygamous sect that Kody Brown and his family belonged to. Now, this isn't a choice that Christine made completely on her own. This decision was a product of her upbringing. This will be something that I dive more in depth into in my first members exclusive Bless This Mess video. We're gonna talk about how Kody and the Brown family really tries to distinguish themselves from Warren Jeffs and the FLDS in Sister Wives. They're not your regular polygamists. They're the cool, progressive polygamists. And what we're going to talk about, what I have found in doing more and more research, is that while Kody may be more progressive, more liberal than some of these other polygamous counterparts, there are far more similarities than they acknowledge and that they would want us to know about. Christine has experienced a lot of trauma in her life. She was forced to choose between her parents when her parents divorced, and not only was it a choice between her parents, but it was a choice between her parents and her religion. And this is just such an incredibly unfair position to put a child in. And something I am wondering about as we go into season 17, as Kody and Christine will share with us their life, navigating life after divorce, will this be, intentional or not, a similar position that Christine and Kody's kids find themselves in? While divorce in and of itself is not new territory for Christine, an amicable divorce and a divorce in which co-parenting occurs is actually new territory for her. Christine's kids are everything to her. Avalon is everything to her, and these two new grandchildren will be everything to Christine. So I have no doubt, to the extent, to the best of her ability, Christine is going to be a very present, loving, nurturing grandmother. I do wonder what kind of toxic environment Kody and Robyn are going to put the kids through, if I'm being totally honest. I think Christine, like her mother before her, will never make her children choose between her and Kody. But I really don't hold that same hope for Kody and Robyn. And it might not be an explicit Sophie's choice and us or them, really blatant black and white ultimatum given to the kids. It might be what it's, in my opinion, more likely to be a series of toxic conditioning happening over years, like we've seen happen with other children in the past. We know that Kody emotionally punishes and emotionally neglects the kids of the wives that he has marital problems with. Let's talk about Mykelti's Instagram post that she made at the beginning of this month, just a couple weeks before her pregnancy announcement. I made a video on that, and I will link that in the description as well. Mykelti was absolutely gushing over Kody and Robyn and the close bond that was forming between Avalon, Kody and Robyn, and their kids. And I think a lot of us saw that and went, huh. Kody does not have a good relationship with, I would say, most of his kids. And I am worried that Christine's kids are going to have to make a choice, this sort of Sophie's choice between Kody and Christine. I especially worry for Mykelti, who now has children of her own. I mean, the yearn to have a bond between your parent and your child is strong. I completely get that. I don't fault Mykelti for that at all. But I think this concern that they might be forced to choose is a very real concern. Kody values obedience and loyalty above all else. I'm not sure that he is going to view one of his kids being able to be loyal to him and loyal to Christine. It may very well be an either or situation for Kody. Obedience and loyalty is all he has talked about for the last 2 years. And we see that he openly admits when a relationship between him and one wife is suffering, the relationship between himself and those kids suffer as well. Christine mentioned last season that her kids were sick of the blatant favoritism. So I am viewing this post that Mykelti made with concerned skepticism now. Under regular or more typical divorce circumstances, I think that we would view this post as optimistic and healthy and, you know, hashtag goals, if you will. But this is not an ordinary divorce. This is not an ordinary family dynamic. And Kody and Robyn have proven to foster pretty toxic familial relationships. And ultimately, defecting from polygamy is a big fucking deal. And I'm sure that we are going to see that addressed in season 17, but this ultimately led Christine not to have a relationship with her own mother for 15 years. This divorce and this separation is anything but typical. Now, I will say, Mykelti and Christine seem to have a very good relationship right now, and I hope it continues. Mykelti has gone on Christine's cooking show. Christine has posted pictures of her out and about with Avalon. Christine has even made comment that she's so excited to be an Oma ×3 and that she knows that Mykelti is probably overwhelmed right now, but she's going to be there because she lives close by, and Aspen will be there because she lives close by. So, you know, it's all looking very positive right now. I'm just worried that eventually Mykelti and the rest of Christine's kids, but it seems that Mykelti really does care and value a relationship with her father, that she is going to ultimately be put in a really shitty situation where she is going to have to choose. And I don't think that that pressure is going to come from Christine. I think that that is going to be a toxic environment fostered in Robyn and Kody's house. And we're just going to have to see how that plays out in season 17. Also, keep in mind that Avalon, who is a year and a half old at this point in real life, has not even been born yet on the show. So I really hope that the show just jumps to the current moment, because at this point the show is so far behind. I don't really know what else there is for them to do but to jump and catch up. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Reality Squad, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.